right. I want to welcome everybody to this month's Tech Talk. Today, we are going to be talking about building effective office to field communications. So, a very important topic and should be fun. We have some interesting things to talk about. So, if you've never joined us for a Tech Talk before, we have one of these each month, and we talk about different things that are related to technology and how some of these things can affect your business and improve it in a good way. So that's pretty much what we're about. And in these tech talks, and it's a nice informal conversation where we just kind of talk about some of the things that are going on. So before we get into it, I would like to talk a little bit about some housekeeping items. This is a recorded event, so we are going to have this available on our website as well as our YouTube channel after we have completed it. If you are watching it live, you can submit any questions that you have through either the webinar chat feature or through the question and answer feature on Zoom. We'll have a portion at the end of the event where we discuss some of the questions and try and answer those as best we can at the end. So please go ahead and submit those at any time, and we will definitely get to them when we reach that portion. To introduce myself, my name is Scott Englert. I am the Director of Marketing Operations over at Axoft here, and I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker for today. Her name is Nicole Rodriguez, and she is with sales. Oh my goodness, I forgot to put your job title on there. What is your job title, Nicole?
I am in the sales department of the account executive team here at Axoft. Been here in the company for 6 years now.
Absolutely, yes. And I also recently found out that Nicole is an avid fan of true crime documentaries, which I am as well. I watch maybe a little bit too many of them, and my wife thinks I'm kind of crazy. So
I'm invested.
we're in the same boat here. So what got you into that, and what do you like so much about them?
It's just, I don't know, maybe because they're super interesting and they're real, right? So you kind of like get that feel of how people can do such things, but also the investigation parts from the side of law enforcement. It really caught my eye. I invested. Like I have a toddler of 3 years old. I put him in bed and I just spend my night with my popcorn on it, and it's kind of freaky because it's like at 12 a.m. at night that I'm seeing this stuff, but I'm invested. I really like them a lot.
You actually sound a lot like me. I'll be watching it late at night, and my wife's like, "How can you watch this stuff before you go to sleep?" And I'm like, "But it's so interesting. Like, look at how they, had to go about it in order to catch the guy, and this, that, and the other." And yeah, it's I'm right there. I'm right there with you. And sometimes I think, man, am I just like a weirdo because I like this? But then I find out that there's so many people out there that love it, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not that weird. And but I will tell you this one thing that I learned from watching these things is I will never, ever, ever commit a crime because I know I will immediately get caught, and all of the things that they have, like it's awesome. It's awesome how cool some of the technology is and the ways that they can figure things out. So yeah, not that I was planning on committing any crimes, but that further solidifies that I will never ever do it. So too crazy, but that's really cool. So all right, well, let's get into our topic for today. We again are talking about building effective office to field communication, and that's a really interesting topic. And we're going to jump right into it and just kind of get into the nitty gritty of just why is it so important, and what can happen if it isn't strong.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, having a communication between the field and the office is major because that's how your business is built. That's how you get customers in. So, definitely not having the proper communication can run into loss of money. That's the one thing businesses don't want to lose is money. So, of course, having incomplete communication, not the proper back and forth from the office and the field can cost your organization money, big money. That's, I think that's the biggest piece of it. Another one is you are as a business reliable, right? And you want your customers to trust you. You want your employees to trust you. So not having that communication can cause a lacking of trust. Your company's not going to be that reliable anymore. Your customers are going to have no trust. They're not going to refer you. They're not going to say, hey, this business, this, and this. If you're not communicating effectively, you're going to lose a lot of customers because of that. And another big one for me is the loss of data. Company moves with data. It
Mhm.
is what it is. And losing that can become a major cost in the business. And also, it can cost you errors, which means that you have to go back to that customers and do it again. It's going to cost you money because now you're spending more money on the customer, you're spending money on the employee. So the office and field communication, it has to be strong because businesses are moved by money and of course customers. And if you don't have neither of those, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that you touched on, from the data side of things, with everything becoming so digital, how important that is, and to make sure that connection is solid, and you're not going to lose that data, that super important data that can, like you said, either make or break a customer and have them become a lifetime customer, or be somebody who may not only you may lose as a customer, but also lose business later on down the line because of reviews, other communication that happens in our digital world now, that is so reliable. I know myself, whenever I'm looking for a company these days, I'm always looking at reviews,
Reviews.
and looking at what even neighbors will say, etc. So that communication is definitely huge from that aspect. Absolutely, yeah.
And
So
if
so
you're
that's a
like
great thing
me,
to.
when you're
Mhm.
looking for a business, you tend to pay attention to the negative one. Of course, you see the positive one, and you get
Mhm.
trust on that, but you
Yeah.
see that one, and that one kind of freaks, at least like freaks me out. I Google more of the company, I search more. I don't base myself on just one bad review, but I kind of pay attention to them as well.
Absolutely. And from the marketing side of things, I don't remember the exact stat, but there is a stat out there that I have read before, that talks about how much more people will put out a bad review than they will a good one. And obviously it's because if a customer feels like they were done wrong, or that they just had a really bad experience and they want to warn other people about it, they're more apt to put that review out there, rather than a good one. So it's so important for you to have that good experience, so you don't have the possibility of having those bad reviews that are out there, rather than having the good ones, which people are less likely to put out there to outweigh the negative ones. So absolutely, yeah, for sure. So let's talk about what are some strategies that companies can employ to enhance this communication practices.
There's a few that I would think are major. Definitely do constant check-ins and meetings. That way you can address in a timely manner any gaps that the business is having. That way you can strengthen that communication. So having constant meetings with your team, knowing what's going on in your business is key to know what can be fixed. Okay, we kind of like um, drop the ball on this one. Let's find ways to make it better. So having that constant communication between your employees and your staff is key. With today's world, digital world, we all know it, mobile technologies are a key, right? Because it consolidates communications between the office and the field. And it's an easier one-way street between the office and the field that you can communicate. Um, Talking more with customers, getting their feedback is key as well. That way you can know what to fix in the future, what are you doing right, what even customers give you points of how you can be a better company. So and with the digital world having this, I always think of surveys, a great way to have that customer's feedback. That way you can know more their experiences, how you can refine them for the future, and how you can be a better business, right? Um, with the digital world, having the job dispatching automates instead of being a paperwork is better too, because you, like I said in the beginning, data is key. Data is what drives decision making. So having a digital dispatching on a digital or a mobile application will get that data stored in a cloud, and you can see information more quickly than going through a bunch of papers, seeing what happened with this customer. So definitely having be on top of digital world, talking to your customers, knowing feedback from your customers, and having that communication constantly with your employees can strengthen that communication.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you were talking about the digital transfer of the information. I mean, with it being so immediate, you can provide updates to employees that are out in the field, to jobs that they may need. New information comes in that they need for that job, that maybe the next job that they're headed to, or the job that they're currently on. They can update that, and update the customer. All that stuff being immediate with that communication makes a big difference, as opposed to, the old way of, oh, maybe I have to call this guy, maybe I have to, wait till they get back to the office in order to talk to them about the specific issue that I had, etc. All that delay can affect the customer's experience for sure.
Yeah, and having a mobile technology also streams down, and everybody in the business know what's going on. Everybody's reporting to the same platform. For example,
Hmm.
I would know if employee X is on lunch break. I would know if this person is, so I don't double book a job for them. So having that mobile digital applications can have everybody on the same tower. Everybody's communicating in the same tower, so everybody knows what's going on.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we talked a little bit about we touched on it there, but let's talk a little bit about some of the tools that are available that organizations can use in order to improve this communication.
Like I said, the digital world is a must. So companies had to get on board, if not by now, with these applications for not only technology. This expands the communication. You can have communication with your supervisors, with your employee, instead of having them to go to different assignments. You don't know what everybody's doing. So having that digital application will have everybody on the same page. Definitely dispatching and scheduling software streamline processes. That way you don't over double book somebody on the job. As a dispatcher, for example, you know what's going on one window. You don't have to go through pages and hunt, for example, a technician, because you have a digital and says, okay, this person has 3 routes for the day, so I cannot double book this person. So digital applications are a must to improve communication. Um, One that I've learned, because I'm in sales, is definitely having an industry specific um, based application that will follow all the SOPs from the business, that will cut processes, having something that's specific for your industry, not having 100 forms for something that is not in your business. So that's definitely one thing that I've learned as I'm talking to customers. Um, AI technology, which can automatically do the reporting, the communication, depending on what is needed, I think is a big one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, from the form side of things, that and just having some type of a digital way to communicate, and gather information on certain jobs, I think that's a huge one for sure. And some of the technology that's involved in that is, it not only can help the communication aspect of it, but like you had mentioned before, the error aspect of it. In order for the right information, because yeah, it's great if you're communicating with each other, but if you're not communicating the right information, that can be absolutely detrimental too, and make you go 2 steps back instead of moving forward on a job. So having some of that technology that is digital that can help. And one of my favorites, that I'll just kind of touch on real quick is one of the things that we have in our software is, where when you're filling out a form, depending on what you have filled out before, it will only show you options that are relative to that. So the best example that I can give is, let's say that you're looking for an automotive part, and you put in that it's a Ford vehicle. Well, it's only going to give you makes and models that are Fords, and then underneath that, it's only going to give you parts that are relative to those Ford, makes and models. So, it eliminates the possibility of making errors and mistakes in that aspect, so that then, you're not having to fix and correct those issues later on down the line, because maybe an employee doesn't realize that that part is not available for that particular model, or just an example. So that's kind of
Absolutely.
one of the real kind of sort of shows the power of being able to do some of these things digitally. Yeah.
And yeah, and going back to the first question you asked me, it in the employee side of things it's gonna keep the employee engaged, because think about the example you just provided. There's a
Mhm.
Ford. If you don't have something that just puts the Ford parts, do you have this employee frustrated? He's in front of the customer looking for 100 parts.
Absolutely.
They're not gonna be efficient, and it's not completely on them. So
Right. Absolutely, yeah, or just trying to come up with it off the top of their head, yeah, yeah, which absolutely, yeah. So it certainly makes a difference in the customer experience as well. So absolutely. Okay, so now that we talked a little bit about like overall generically the tools, so what are some of the tools that Teamworks and Axoff provides that can help with some of these strategies?
Definitely how we retain our data. That's one of the big ones for me, because like I mentioned in my examples, you have data on the cloud store. That way you would know, for example, okay, I work with customer X. In 3 months ago, I would know from my data retention exactly what jobs were performed for that customer. That way, I know, okay, we don't need to do maintenance or warranty with this customer. This was done 3 months ago. This is a new install, for example. So
Hmm.
the data retention in our cloud is big, that we have that job dispatching, where you can send your employees new work orders, information on a scheduled basis on the fly. That way you can make the road of that employee immediately, right? It's going to be made on demand. So that way you have a more productive employee. So it's one after the other one, one after the other one. Wireless forms is a big one. I said it in my previous tech talk. It's one of my favorites, because it's gonna enable your workers to collect dynamic information from the field, and it's gonna be automatically sent to the headquarters. You don't have to wait for paperwork. It's the end of the day, and then at 7 p.m. when I'm done with my work, I have all my orders. No, this is gonna be immediately. You leave a job, you completed your paperwork. It's straight from the headquarters, and it gives time, one organization, right? That we're speaking about it. It gives time to the administrator to complete that, to invoice to the customer. The customer has his receipt immediately. So it's gonna make it a little bit easier, that process as well. Messaging. The inter messaging that we have not only lets you speak from admin office to the field, but you can do group messages, right? So if you have multiple people on the field in different areas, the messaging is gonna have that communication to anybody, and it's stored in the system. So that is the big one. It's not lost on a phone. It's not deleted from somebody's phone. It's stored in your system, so you can go back if you need to search information. GPS tracking, of course, is gonna get real time insight or where your employees are. You can manage how they're going to their workforce, and you can manage their routes, right? So that's one of the biggest, besides wireless phones, that I really like. You see your employees right on time. You see what they're doing. You see when they're moving from A to B. If something would have happened with your wireless phones, with your messages, you can communicate to the admin. For example, with the Ford example that you were mentioning for the auto parts, if they need inventory, right? If they need X parts, you can communicate immediately with the admin. Say, hey, we need to order part 1, 2, 3 for this customer. We need it 2 days, in 2 days. So that's not going to be until the end of the day. That's going to
Right.
take you 48 hours. It's going to take you weeks. No, that's immediately. The person in the office can schedule that order immediately, and that's a happy customer right there.
Hmm.
Um, Another one that we have are alerts. So you can be alerted when somebody's entering into a specific area on your business that you want to know, on a big project that you want to know. So you are knowing with the alerts, with the GPS tracking and everything that I mentioned, your workforce operation. That way you can manage and organize your business properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you touched on a lot there, which is great, which is it's awesome. And one of the cool things about a lot of these things that you did talk about is, they'll work in conjunction with each other. Like, for instance, when you dispatch a job out, you can attach forms to that and say, okay, I know that this job is going to be about a certain aspect and involve certain things, so I can have forms that are included with that job, so then that employee that is dispatched has those forms available to fill out. Then once they're done, they immediately go back to the back end office and they can get right into them. And it really kind of works, like you said, kind of keeps that communication just flowing and really making sure that it's being taken care of as quickly as possible. One of the things that I really did like about that they were talking about, with the ordering, that happened to me the other day, where I had an issue with my air conditioning unit. I had to the guy had to order a new coil. He had to go back to the office, and I had to wait for them to order it after he got back to the office, and so it actually delayed it by an extra day. And that may not sound like a lot, but when your AC is down, that really stinks from a
And it's
customer aspect.
104 degrees out there. Of
Absolutely.
course, you're
Yeah,
gonna get
yeah.
frustrated.
So yeah, so it's stuff like that can really make a big difference. Even though it may not seem like it from the get-go. So yeah, so things like that, they really do make a customer a lot more satisfied, at least from my
Absolutely.
perspective there. So
And
yeah,
and
that
if you as a business are organized and know what's going on, everything is going to be easier. If you know what's going on, not only inside but outside, that communication, your organization is going to flow 10 times easier.
absolutely, yeah. And one more item that I did want to kind of bring up that we also have is mobile payments. And mobile payments allows, obviously it's kind of more on the information of the billing side of things, but the quicker that you can get your payment in, and you can get that to your billing department and get those processed and flowing for your money flow, uh, that's huge as well. So
Yep.
from that aspect too, customer experience as well. If I can pay for it right then and there, and now I don't have to work with a online web portal in order to pay my bill, or wait for a bill to come in the mail, and I
Or
can
a
do all that
check.
once. Sure, absolutely, yeah. Sending out checks, if you're if you're a dinosaur these days, right, with checks. No, but from business aspect, yeah, definitely. So yeah, these are all kind of really big items that can help in the communication portion of it. So yeah, absolutely. So that kind of covers the topics that we were going to talk about from that aspect, and we're getting about to the time where we are going to discuss some of the questions. So let me see if we have any questions from the field here. So actually looks like we don't have any questions, which is, I always say that's a good thing, Nicole, because what that means is that we covered literally everything. No, so yes, we're brilliant. Yeah, that's what it is
Of
for
course
sure.
we
No,
are.
absolutely. So we did want to talk about one final thing before we close out for today, and what that is we have a trial going on for our software that can help with some of the communications, and the trial offer is it's a 14-day trial. And one of the things I like to tell everybody is, it's not a watered down version or a light version or anything like that. It is the full real deal. So all the tools that we talked about, the features that we talked about today, those are all included in this. And it's free to sign up and just try it out for 14 days. We do have somebody that comes and helps you to onboard and set everything up the way that it's going to be the most effective for your business, and just let you see how good it is for you, and how it can help with your ROI. help with some of your communication and really get you going in this digital age. So if you're interested at all, you can scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, or you can also go to our website, axoff.com, and there's a banner right up at the top with a little button that it kind of wiggles around, and you can click on that, fill out a couple of little form fields, and we'll get in touch with you right away. So if you're interested in all, I highly recommend that you check this out. So and we are all done for today. So I wanted to thank our guest, Nicole, for all of your valuable information. I learned some stuff today, and also, I felt we had some really good talking points that really made a lot of sense from the communication aspect. So thank you so very much.
Of course.
And thank you to everybody else who is on the call and anybody who may be watching the recording. So we will catch you next time on the next Tech Talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.